Doesn't it ever wake you in the middle of the night? The feeling that someday they will pass that foolish law, or one just like it, and come for you and your children.
It does indeed.
What do you do when you wake up to that?
I feel a great swell of pity for the poor soul who comes to that school looking for trouble.
That was the closing line of X-Men, and boy did it live up to the promise of a sequel in X2. 2003's X-Men 2, and here I am with my retrospective review of that movie. So let's get into it. Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Welcome to my retrospective review series for the X-Men franchise. A film series that I haven't sat down and watched in some time. A film series that I've never watched in close proximity to one another. But I'm going to go through them now for my enjoyment of watching and also to talk about and review. So X2, X-Men 2 or X-Men United, whatever title you want to call it. This film came out in 2003 with a 12A rating and a runtime of 2 hours and 14 minutes. Again directed by Bryan Singer and written by Zak Penn, David Hayter and Bryan Singer himself. And this film did have an inflated budget over the first, and it shows as well. And returning in this film we have Patrick Stewart as Professor Xavier, Hugh Jackman as Logan or the Wolverine, Halle Berry as Storm, Sir Ian McKellen as Magneto, Famke Janssen as Jean Grey, Anna Paquin returns, Rebecca Romijn, Brian Cox stars as William Stryker, Alan Cumming joins proceedings as Kurt Wagner, Bruce Davison returns in a kind of extended cameo role, Aaron Stanford as Pyro, you may have seen him in the 12 Monkeys TV series, and he did pop up in The Walking Dead for a bit. Shawn Ashmore returns as Bobby Drake, and Kelly Hu has a role as well. So a very heavy cast of individuals, and this film here, it starts, it's set just a few months after the end of that first X-Men film. Logan Wolverine, he's off looking for his origins, shall we say, and stuff's been happening in the White House. We open with a scene where Nightcrawler himself, played by Alan Cumming, attempts to assassinate the president. And you've got this wonderful scene given to you that is one of the highlights and a brilliant opening to the movie. Like I said, Wolverine's off. He doesn't find anything. He comes back to the house, and we've got a lot going on in the Senate, in White House, because of the events of what have happened. And William Stryker comes into the foray, and he tells the president about this school for that's hiding gifted children, that's hiding mutants, and because of the attack on the president, he wants to go into that school and basically capture all the mutants. Now William Stryker is a character who doesn't like mutants, and he wants to bring them all down. In fact, he wants to destroy all the mutants. He wants to kill them, and he has a plan to do this. Magneto, he's still locked up in his plastic prison cell, visited by William Stryker at times, and kind of coerced into giving information. This is how he's found out about the school for the gifted. The X-Men, where after Wolverine's return, the X-Men go on different missions. Halle Berry's Storm and Jean Grey, they go off to find the Nightcrawler, and Professor X and Cyclops, they go off to visit their old friend Erik Lehnsherr in prison. Magneto, how they managed to get in there is beyond me, because earlier in the film Bruce Davison's character, but not Bruce Davison, not the Senator, it's obviously Mystique, because the Senator died at the end of the last film. He's refused to go and see. So how Professor X gets special privileges is beyond me, but I'm guessing William Stryker, knowing that they're potential mutants, has a thing up his sleeve and it's part of his plan. We can go with it that way. So then we have this attack on the school that occurs. Wolverine is there babysitting all the children when all these soldiers come in and attack and start tranquilizing the students and taking them, and we're given the berserker rage. Wolverine goes into his berserker rage, and this then leads into the story of them trying to find the children, trying to get Professor X, because Professor X has been kidnapped, not from the school but from the prison cell, and this is why he's allowed in, and that's just occurred to me because they use it as a ploy to catch him. But Stryker, he has a way of controlling mutants with some sort of a fluidy stuff in a syringe that he drops onto this thing on the back of their neck, and it makes them susceptible to control. Not only this, Stryker's building his own Cerebro. He's building his own Cerebro because he wants to use Professor X via his own son, who is a mutant, but a mutant that has been worked upon, shall we say, who's had experimentations done on him to kill all mutants through the use of Cerebro, because Cerebro would have the power to kill all of the mutants. But Eric Lenchner, Magneto, after his escape, he's got plans to actually destroy all humans. So this is a great film in the sense that it puts together three elements. Three elements come into play. You've got Professor X and his view on mutants. You've got Magneto and his view on mutants, and you've got the humans with their view on mutants as well, the negative view that they or some may harbour towards them. And this comes into play three ways, and in a sense of the enemy of my enemy is my friend, because there is a teaming of the X characters in it. There is a part where Magneto does come together with some of the X-Men to formulate a plan of a strategy of attack and rescue people. But they have their own means to an end. They all want a different goal at the end. So even though they're working together, they're still opposed to one another. And it makes for some great drama and some fantastic scenes. And this film is a tightly written film. This is a well-written X-Men film. There's no two ways about it. We start seeing the Jean Grey's powers start to develop. The powers of the Phoenix Force, Dark Phoenix, and all this sort of a thing. And it has a lot to offer. Now, like I said, we open with this White House scene, which could easily have just been a standout of the film, but there are other scenes throughout the film, action sequences that live up to this as well. So without a doubt, there is good reason why this is spoken about as being one of the best comic book movies of its day. It is a tremendous film, and you've got some fantastic acting talent within this movie. You know, you've got heavy hitters here. You've got Patrick Stewart, you've got Ian McKellen. Just the scenes with them are just fantastic. The two of them bounce off of one another brilliantly, and you know, these are two, you know, stage trained actors playing these characters, going at it to one another with a kind of friendship but hatred for one another at the same time, or dislike, but they like each other. You know what I mean? They've got this on-off kind of, yeah, and it's just great. It's great to see. Hugh Jackman, again, he's an outstanding performance in this role. There's a reason why he will always be remembered as the character of Wolverine. And that shows in this film here. And Brian Cox makes for a fantastic villain. He truly does. You know, it's a strong cast, a very strong cast, headed by a strong director with strong direction in Bryan Singer. Like I said, let's not talk about what he got up to afterwards or during and what happened to his career. We're just talking about this film here, and it's got good writing, solid action, great musical score, soundtrack. There's nothing about this film that I can fault whatsoever, and the film ends on a fantastic tease of Jean Grey and the Phoenix after her sacrifice at the end of the movie in saving the other characters. Truly magnificent, and it hyped up X-Men 3. It really did, and that's where we're delving into next. I'll give you my thoughts on the third X-Men film, and we all know what happened there. But let's see. I mean, I haven't visited that film some considerable time. Is there some worth in it? Is there some good to be found in that movie? And that's what I will do in my next review. I will watch it with an open mind. I'll try and watch it as a standalone, if that makes sense. Try not to compare it to the two that came before, and see if it does stand up and has some reward for watching it. We'll find that one out on the next X-Men Revisited. So this is me done. So let me know in the comments down below your thoughts on X2, X-Men 2, X-Men United, or whatever you want to call it. And I'll see you all on the next one. Take care all, and goodbye.